Hi everybody, welcome to Psychology at Work and Play, the channel where we talk about personal growth, health for wealth, and realigning our mindset. In our last video, we spoke about the inner work, what it is, and how to do your inner work. In today's video, we are going to talk about the different inner child wounds that have impacted our lives, that even today as adults, we are challenged going forward. The core wounds from the inner child are deeply rooted emotional traumas that have their origins in our childhood experiences. These wounds can manifest in various ways, such as emotional instability, anxiety, depression, and relationship problems. In order to heal these wounds, it is important to first identify and analyze them. And if we are being truthful and honest to ourselves, we will know that not everything is okay, because we do experience issues that helps us or prevents us from being our best self. So in order to heal these wounds, it is important to identify and analyze them. Here are some common core wounds, and I am going to help you to come up with strategies how to cope with them. We're going to talk about 4 of those core wounds. The first core wound we want to talk about is abandonment. A lot of people are experiencing abandonment because this wound is caused by a lack of emotional support or physical presence from a parent or caregiver. It can manifest as fears of rejection, clinginess, difficulty forming healthy attachments. And so as you experience these difficulties, it affects even relationships. And so we are so caught up and affected by abandonment that a lot of people sabotage themselves by separating themselves from relationships because they have become so accustomed to being abandoned. So how do we cope? What coping mechanism can we put in place to address this whole abandonment issue? The coping mechanisms can include building a support network, practicing self-care, and seeking therapy, of course. I always recommend that if you have challenges and you're not able to cope, seek help, seek support. And sometimes just talking to a therapist, talking to someone who you deem as confidential and is able to help you. When you explain how you were abandoned as a child, as you share this information, you will find answers are within you. It's just you need the support to help you to reach those resources that are available to you. The second core wound I want to talk about today is rejection. This wound stems from feeling unloved or unwanted, and is often due to a parent's rejection or neglect. It can lead to low self-esteem, people-pleasing, and just simple fear of intimacy. Some people believe that no one will love them enough, and so as they get into relationship in intimacy, they shy away, they start having all of these self-doubts, and faulty thinking comes into play, that they leave the relationship even without giving it a chance to work. Some persons will give you all kinds of reasons why they are not in intimate relationships and why it continue to not work out each time they meet someone. So let's look at some of the coping mechanisms in this regard. Coping mechanisms can include self-compassion, because if you don't love yourself enough and being compassionate to yourself, then you won't believe that someone else will be able to give you that amount of compassion. So you have to start setting up healthy boundaries and practicing forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness for other things other people might have done to you. One of the other things you need to start practicing is assertiveness. You have to assert yourself, do your own investigation about things, find out. Don't just be clouded by your own thoughts and your beliefs, because sometimes our faulty beliefs lead us to become mistrusting of people and their genuineness. So how do we cope with this feeling of shame? We want to do mindfulness activities. Focus on telling your mind how wonderful you are. Focus on relaxation and using the positive affirmations to speak to your inner you. I am beautiful. I am lovely. I am fabulous as I am. And just closing your eyes and envision the beauty that you want to see yourself as. And in you envisioning, you start believing. So mindfulness is very, very powerful, because you are telling your mind what you want to believe about you. And when you do this for a while, It becomes a natural part of you. And I understand that habits are formed in 30 days. And if you practice these habits of telling yourself how beautiful you are, how loved you are, and nothing belittling can happen to you to make you feel less than yourself. After 30 days, this becomes a new belief, a new habit, and you practice that habit, and it will take you through as a coping mechanism. Another coping mechanism is self-reflection. Reflect on yourself. Look at all the different things that would have happened to you over time. Look at all the other experiences that you'd have had that shows how beautiful you are. And the other times when you would have risen above all the challenges that you have experienced. So self-reflection is important, and practicing self-acceptance. So my mouth is big, so what? It has made me a lot of money. This mouth has made me a lot of money because all my professional journey has required of me to use my mouth and to do presentations, speaking to people, interacting. And I have accepted that it is in fact large. It's mine. It's what God gave to me. And I am at the place where I am okay with whatever it is that anyone is saying about me. And so it is important also to spend time with yourself. So we have to learn to accept ourselves for who we are. So spend the time, take your clothes off, go in front of your mirror, smile at yourself. You will see your smile. A lot of people find it amusing that I have open teeth and your teeth is missing and all of that. I have come to terms that my dad had open teeth and I came with open teeth. Yes, some people are not happy with it, but I am okay with it. And if I am okay with it, if you're not okay with it, it's really too bad, but I am okay with it. It is a part of who I am. So we have to take our clothes off, look at our bodies. Look at the different scars on our bodies, the birthmarks. Look at the beautiful dimples that you have. Look at the different parts that would look like a dent to somebody else, but it's beauty to you. So we have to look at ourselves, admire ourselves, be comfortable with it. Some people are so ashamed of themselves that they refuse to use a mirror. And sometimes when you pass somewhere and see yourself, you become so frightened. We have to be comfortable with who we are. I am okay with me. So I encourage you also to be comfortable with you. The fourth core wound I want to talk about is betrayal. This wound results from a breach of trust, such as a parent's infidelity or a friend's betrayal. And it can lead to difficulty trusting others. And so some persons are always thinking that something bad is going to happen, something good will not come of whatever you're doing because of mistrust and betrayal that you would have experienced. And sometimes getting over betrayal is not so easy. A lot of people feel betrayed in relationships when your partners leave the relationship, because in the beginning the arrangement was that you're going to live together until you both die. So you feel betrayed because the person has left the relationship before the time that you had planned. People feel betrayed because they would have confided in their partners, their friends, relatives, something that are very, very important, and that betrayal never leave your life. But even as a child, you would have experienced that level of betrayal because your parents vowed to love you forever, vowed to be with you, to stay with you, to love you and cherish you. But at some point they leave. And even as children experience things like divorce and separation, children believe that their parents did not just leave each other, but they left them as a child. And they feel betrayed because they expect you to love them. Another level of betrayal also is that you promise to protect your child, but sometimes you're not always present. And what happens is that sometimes the child will experience abuse by someone else, whether it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, or any one of those. Those can impact you where you feel betrayed because the people who were supposed to love you didn't love you, did not protect you. And so that betrayal comes over into your adult relationship and affects you going forward and being productive and successful. Sometimes this can also lead to difficulty trusting others, fear of being vulnerable. A lot of people don't like the vulnerability feeling. And then there's this desire for control. A lot of people hang on to things, try to control every situation because they feel like if they don't do that, they will be betrayed. So how do I manage? How do I cope with this feeling of betrayal all the time. Coping mechanisms can include therapy, talking to someone about the issues, building trustworthy relationships, being very cautious of the relationships that you build, and practicing forgiveness of yourself and others. Because if you hold all of that inside of you, it can be very impactful and you become someone very bitter and unforgiving. So we would have looked at some core wounds. But going forward, to analyze these wounds, it is important to reflect on your past experiences and identify patterns and behaviors, emotions. Start doing some journaling, therapy, and self-reflection exercises, those that can help with the process. Coping with these wounds involves developing healthy coping mechanisms and seeking support from others. Sometimes we believe we can do it by ourselves, and it is very challenging because we don't even trust ourselves sometimes. So getting the support from others is important. It is also important to remember that healing takes time and effort. It's not an overnight process, but it is possible with patience and self-compassion. I hope this video would have been very helpful to someone today. And if you find value in what I have shared with you, I invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit like if you find the information rich enough that you'll want some more. And if you are enjoying this inner work discussion, please type in the comment section inner work, that I can know that you need more, and we'll dive deeper into this inner work process, what it entails, and how we can live more fulfilling lives, understanding ourselves, our emotions, our behaviors, and our patterns of living. Thank you very much for joining me. And for those who have already subscribed, I thank you very much. This could not have been done without your support. So I thank you. And go ahead and hit the notification bell. That means when the next video is out, you will definitely be the first to know. Thank you for joining me at Psychology at Work and Play. Have a good time. Take care. Bye-bye. Ta-ta.